Hey there YouTube fans, AC Productions here, and today we're in a little bit of a different setting. I'm over here at a customer's motorcycle, and hence the title of this video is I'm going to be showing you on how to install this LED glow kit that's pretty much made by Russia. So I figured I'd take this opportunity. I wasn't too sure about making this video, but you know, honestly, I didn't find any videos on the YouTube on how to install this kit. So luckily I already know how to do stuff like this, so it's pretty much what I do. I do LED glow kits and custom headlights for all types of bikes here in Chicago. So over here we have the 2021 BMW K1600, as you could see right over here. I have never seen one of these bikes over here in Chicago in person, so this is kind of the first for me. So I'm going to show you on this side everything that I'm doing, and since I already wired it on that side, I'll still go through all of the wiring on what to do on how to wire it. I also installed an aftermarket handlebar switch, which I'll also show you how to do. Like I said, it's going to be a complete step-by-step on how to install this LED glow kit. So first things first, let's get to the seat. Now to get the seat off of the bike, you're going to need your BMW key, which is pretty cool because it has that little push button, and if I could push it, the key comes out. All right, so let's go ahead and get the seat out. So you want to make sure that when you're on the bike, you're on the left side, as that's where the lever is to do the seat. So it's going to go ahead and put the key in here like so, but turn the key to the left, then push it in. Then there's this little latch that's going to pop out. Once that pops out, pull it towards you and then open up the side trunk. Once you get to the side trunk, you're going to see that there's going to be this little gray lever. You're going to go ahead, grab that little gray lever, pull it towards you. Once you pull it towards you, you're going to be able to lift up the seat. And that's pretty much it on how to get access to the seat. And we're just going to go ahead and put it off to the side for now, as we're not going to need to do anything to the battery, which is actually located right over here. All right, so now that we got the seat off, next we're going to need to remove the side panel. So let me show you the screws that you're going to need to remove and the Torx bit that you're going to need to remove the screws. All right, a good thing to have, guys, is going to be a headlight like this. This will allow you to see really good, and especially in these kind of dark areas. Okay, so next we're going to have two tools. We're going to have something like this. It's almost like a handle with so you could put a bit on there. Besides this one, you may also going to need one of these little small guys to get into a little bit more tighter spaces. So now the next thing that you're going to need is going to be a T25 Torx bit, which is this little guy right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in my handle right there. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so these are going to be the screws that you're going to need to remove in order to remove your side panel, so you could get access to the BMW emblem, so we can install the LED light that's going to go behind there. So in order to remove that, we're going to need to remove these screws, which is going to be this one here. There's 1, 2, 3, and then there's a hidden one behind this piece right here. So in order to get access to that, it's going to grab it, move it over towards you, and then you're going to see that there's going to be another screw hidden right here. So that's another screw right there. Besides that screw, we're going to need to remove is going to be a screw right over here. Once we remove that screw, there's going to be another screw, which is right here. After that, there's so many screws, guys. After that, once we get a little leverage, we're going to have to remove a screw that's located right in there, if you guys could see that one. Besides that one, there is another screw up in here. That's another one right there. So all those screws are going to have to be removed to get this panel off. Also, besides that, it's not a screw, but it is a little grommet that's actually holding this whole piece in, which is going to be this little guy right here. It's just a little rubber grommet, so you're going to be maybe a small little screwdriver. Just grab it and pop it up and off, and that'll release this whole entire panel off. All right, so let's get to it on removing this whole piece. Hey guys, I also forgot to mention that there's two more screws besides the one over here. There is a screw right over here on this bottom part, and another screw here to get this whole piece off. So those two screws as well have to be removed. Alrighty guys, now that we got the whole entire fender off, as you could see, so we have to get this emblem off to install the LED circle that actually goes behind this. Alright, so we flip this guy over. So here is the back end of this fender, and you can see all of these clips that are holding the emblem in place. Now what I used to get the emblem off was this plastic pry tool. So I just kind of pushed on the little arms, push them in like this. I try to do a few at a time. I got the plastic pry tool in here. Then I gave a little pressure and kind of turned it this way. So looking at it from the side view, if you was the side, generally just kind of push it down like that to kind of get it to pop out. And I was just doing it all the way around. So you guys want to do the same. Just be careful. Well, you don't really have to be careful too much on the arms because we have to cut these little arms off anyway. So if you happen to break a few along the way, that's okay because we're going to chop them off anyway. Alrighty, now with the emblem popped out, you also want to make sure that you're holding it from the bottom so it doesn't fall on the floor and scratch up. Here's the emblem from the other side. Here it is. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut all of these little arms off of the emblem. And you want to make sure you get a very sharp X-Acto blade and just chop the arm right off to the base right there, and make sure that you get it nice and smooth. So make sure that there is nothing of the arm left on there. Once you get it all cut up, let me show you one that I already did. It should look like this, nice and smooth. Okay, so now that we got the emblem off of the fairing, next we're going to be grabbing is the LED, I would say an LED puck, I guess you would call it. As you can see, it is labeled on here with left and right. Actually, this one says logo on it. It's logo, and then this one says left turn signal, which, as you can see, this is the part that's going to go to the front of the bike. This is just a 3D printed bracket that they used, and then they implemented the LED strip on the inside, which I'll show you that in a minute on how to install that, of course. But for now, we need to get to this LED puck just because we need to epoxy this onto the fairing. So that's going to take a little time. So while the epoxy is drying on this puck, then we could just go ahead and get to this other stuff. Then you're going to notice that there's going to be these two button switches. I'm going to have to probably make a custom bracket to accommodate these, as I don't like to drill any holes into the fairings. That's up to you if you guys want to drill any holes on your fairings to install these. Once you do, you could just actually unplug it from here and then pop the little switch inside and then plug it right back in. But for me, I'm not going to do that, as I'm not sure if the customer wants any holes into his BMW bike. I'm sure it was pretty expensive. So it does have a little connector right here that's not screwed on. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. So as you can see, I already pulled it out from its plug, and I know that this is for that side, as I already did the other side. But pretty much what I do on one side is going to be the exact same thing for the other side fairing. Okay, so now that we got this puck, as you can see, it does have some kind of indented logo. I'm not sure if that's the company logo from where this LED glow kit was manufactured in Russia. So it really doesn't really matter on direction of how you put this. For me, I'm going to put it with this part like this on the fairing, just pretty much straight, I would say. All right, so let's go ahead and put some epoxy on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put a lot of epoxy. I wouldn't say towards the edge, too much in the edge, but if you could see that there is a line right here. So I'll put a little bit of epoxy all the way around in the circumference of the circle. And let me go ahead and put that epoxy so you guys can see what I'm talking about. By the way, guys, the epoxy I'll be using is going to be the Shugu Black Edition. Alright guys, so this is how the epoxy looks like once you put it on the puck. You want to make sure that you put enough all on the circumference of the LED plug. Now, as you can see, the cable is out, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that cable in through this area. And then once you get it on there, just go ahead and carefully set it on its little area here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and press that in there. So for me and for you guys, you want to make sure that you kind of have it pretty much aligned, and what I'm using for reference are going to be these lines right here on the fender. So I'm going to kind of guess, I'm going to go ahead and turn this. All right, so like I said, I'm not going to consider the line of the emblem, but really the line of the LED. Now I'm just going to go with the edge of the LED to with the edge of this of the model number of the BMW. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that's aligned straight like this. All right, so now that it's on there, I'm going to go ahead and put blue painter's tape. Just get enough blue painter's tape to go from here to here, and then put it on just to hold it in place, because we need to flip it over and put more epoxy on the other end so that this puck does not come out whatsoever. All right, so I already got the tape on there, and that's going to hold the puck in place. So we could go ahead and flip it over. See if I could just probably put it somewhere where the fairing's not going to get scratched. All right, so I'm going to put it over here like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill out all these holes, plus fill out the inside diameter, and I think that should be enough shoe glue to hold it. Then we're going to go ahead and put this off to the side and work on the rest of the LEDs. Alrighty guys, there you go. As you can see, there's how all the shoe glue is looking like right there. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and just let that sit while we go ahead and work on the rest of the bike on installing the LEDs. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and we are going to get to this front LED turn signal and we're gonna install that LED bracket on here. So in order to get that bracket on here, we have to remove it like I said. So in order to do that, we're gonna have to get it off of this little piece right here. Could be a little bit tricky, but just pull it this way and then push this part with your thumb if you can. I'm gonna do this with one hand if possible. Push it back and get it out of there. Okay, now that that part is out, gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna unplug it yet just because the connector is gonna save it from falling to the floor if you don't have two hands to hold it, which I'm not gonna do at the moment because I'm recording for you guys. Torx bit is gonna be a T20 for this one, and then you wanna make sure you use your small lever because as this one, you'll be able to get to these tight spaces because of this and in this angle. Go ahead and pull this down and then just grab the clip, push the little button here and pull it out and disconnect it. Then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, now that we got the light already removed from the bike, as you could see. All right, I just turned it so it'd be easier for me to do this with one hand. All right, so I have the curved side on the other side. This is the flat side of the LED. Here's this piece right here. As you can see, this is how it looks like. Gonna go ahead and we're gonna install this on here. So those holes are gonna correspond with these pegs right here. Just go ahead and put that on there like this, and it looks like this. As you can see, it takes that shape of this part here and then like that angle there. And that's how it looks like on this side. And this, it's pretty low profile and you won't see the LED strip at all, but you will see the awesome colors once we get it all installed on the bike. All right, so that's how it looks like here. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and unplug it from here. So you guys do the same, unplug it from here. We're gonna take it back to the bike and install this LED piece back on the bike. All right, so we got our strip right here. Now, unfortunately, the little screws that we removed to get this off are not gonna fit back with this bracket in its place because of the thickness of this plate. So we're gonna have to put longer screws. So you're gonna have to get some little bit longer screws. Up to you if you wanna get the same style with that Torx, or you can get something different. For me, I have something a little bit different, which obviously is gonna be a little bit longer. This one has a 4mm Allen key style on the head, and let me put the stock one back there so you guys can see in comparison on the length. Alrighty guys, as you can see in length, that's the differences right there. So you just need something just a little bit longer, just enough to grab onto the LED and that plate as well. So those are gonna be the ones that I'll be using. You guys use whichever you guys prefer. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this on there. Now, other thing I wanted to note that now that the LED has a cable for the new style, you could actually put that in through here. There is a little cutout right here, and you could, put the cable through here to allow it to kind of fit all nice and flush. Everything is already nice and looking good. As you can see, here is the back plating for that aftermarket LED. So it gives it a nice clean look. As you can see, I already have that one on there. And then here is the cable already coming out from this side. This part's already connected. That's the original turn signal. And then I already got the two screws. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pop this guy right back in here. So just go ahead. So we can do it again with one hand. And okay, it's a little difficult to do it with one hand, putting it back in, but you guys know what I mean. Push this guy back, put the peg back into this rubber grommet, and then we're set to go in this department, and then I'll show you on how to connect this to the kit. Okay, so now we're back on the left side where, like I said, I kind of already started, but I wanted to still give you a tutorial of how to actually have everything wired up. All right, so from the kit, here is for this side. It's already connected right here as I have, but this side is for the other side. Oh, this is the logo for this side actually. They actually do a good job on actually marking the cables. So this one says logo, as you can see right here. This one says right turn signal, and it has pretty lengthy wires, so that's a plus. Here's all the connectors. It does come with a ginormous box, which I put right back here. I have it connected. This is a nice little pocket area, so I put it with a zip tie to some existing cables. So now before I show you the technicals of all the wiring over here, we're gonna go ahead and we want to make sure that we have our cable for the other side. So once we're done and we put the fender back on, we'll have everything already there. So we're gonna go ahead and follow the cable as it's this one right here. We're gonna grab it all, and then we are going to pretty much kind of tuck it all in here and go through this little hole here, which actually is going to correspond with the bottom part of the front end. And we're just going to follow the piping here actually and zip tie along the way so we could get to the other side. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you how I did it and how it should look like. But pretty much, if I were to just kind of get a general view for you guys, just get all the cabling, and I guess maybe just pull as much as you need, and it comes out through this way, and then just get it onto this side over here. Kind of hard to show you as the camera goes out of focus a lot, but anyway, just get the cables through, and then we're just going to go ahead. Like I said, there is some wire or a pipe or something down here that we can kind of attach our zip tie and the cable in on there. So let me go ahead and do it, and then I can show you exactly on how it looks when I did it, and then it'll eliminate me moving the camera all over the place trying to show you this stuff. Alright guys, so I already got everything tidied up, so now let me just show you before I tuck everything up. Here's the cable that I had showed you earlier that we went through this hole over here, and it's going to come out there. I'll show you in a minute, but I kind of also want to show you that I had put zip ties. So you want to make sure that all your wires are nice and neat. So zip tied all around here. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of tuck this cabling inside here. Luckily this BMW just has so much room, perfect for hiding and concealing the cables. I'm going to go ahead and tuck that in there. Alright, so everything's nice and tucked inside there. Goes out over here. Now here is all the wire loom, all that extra excess wire that I just put a bunch of zip ties on and kind of tucked it inside here. Here is our cable for our fender, which is going to be the logo, LED logo. So I got enough here for that area. All the cable tucked in here, over here, box back here, as you can see right there, all tucked inside there. A lot of zip ties, making sure everything's nice and neat. Coming down here, this is going to be the long cable with those 2 push button switches, which I'll show you a lot later on in this video on how to it's already wired up, but just pretty much where to install those. Okay, so next after that, on this side, like I said, I already did this side, but I'm showing you right now what I did. Everything's connected, and over here, like I said, they did a pretty good job of actually wiring everything. Now the only thing that I'm a little bit of what the cable does, there's one over here that says strobe setting. I tried connecting that to so many things, it doesn't do anything. I'm not sure how to wire that or where that goes to. It doesn't have any effect to the glow kit itself. Other than that, we have a tape that says here 12 outlet 12 plus or plus 12. Then we have a yellow cable coming from the harness that says light plus 12, a black cable that says turn, left turn signal, and a red cable that says right turn signal. So the red, obviously the red cable is going to go, if you follow your little plug here, on the plug there's going to be a blue cable and a brown cable. You're going to use a posi tap, and I'll show you that on the other side on how to use a posi tap. And we're going to use that red cable for the right turn signal, and we're going to attach it to the blue cable from the connector here. So that's going to be for the right turn signal. The left turn signal, obviously all the wires are here. It's not going to reach to the other side. So we're going to go ahead and do an extension cable. So this one is black, so I'll use another black cable, attach it to here, and then we're going to run the cable through here, run through there, all the way across to the other side so we could attach to that side turn signal. Other than that, we have a yellow cable that says plus 12 and an outlet that says plus 12. You put both of those cables together, and I have it already connected, but pretty much you wire both of those cables together, and that goes to one cable here, which you see a positive negative, which really is not really positive and negative. It's actually going to be connected to the switch on the top handlebar, which is actually just going to be all positive. So, but I just use the black side for here, but it's actually both cables are positive, because what the switch is all doing is just connecting either, you know, the 2 cables together or separating and turning it off. So I have that red cable going through here, up through here, out through the front here. As it goes out through this area, it comes out through here, goes through a cable here, which goes underneath the bar right here, coming out through here, and here is our on and off switch. It's a 2-position switch, meaning just on and off. It doesn't have any other function. So push it on, push it in to turn it on, push it again to turn it off. It's a really cool little handlebar switch. All you need to do to attach the switch onto your handlebar is remove the bottom screw, put the bracket on here, put the screw back in, and it's on there pretty nice and sturdy. And it's perfect for when you're riding, because you don't have to worry about letting go of your hand for the throttle to push the button, since it's on the side that doesn't have any function for, you know, throttle of any sort. So you can just go ahead and just move your thumb over and push it in, turn it on and off. Very simple and easy. On the switch itself, it does come with 3 cables. It's going to be a black, brown, and blue. No need for the blue, just black and brown. So that's pretty much it for the switch. Coming down here to the bottom, this is the cables for the switch. This wire is going to go straight to the battery along with this cable. This is going to be, has a little U-clip on it. I'm going to go ahead and clip this clip off, and I'm going to just run a positive and negative cable. Obviously negative will be negative, positive will be positive, and that's going to go straight to the battery on the back of the bike. So that's where I'm at right now. So right now I'm going to go ahead and just extend this cable for the left turn signal. I'm just going to run, like I said, a cable here through over there, and that's going to be pretty much for this area. And we're just waiting for the epoxy to finish drying over there on the fender. So that's it. So let me go ahead and get all that situated. You guys do the same. Just make sure your wires are all nice and tucked away and neat. All right, guys, here is where I stand with the wiring. Okay, so I already got my positive and negative cables right here. Positive obviously going to the switch, the negative coming in from the LED glow kit. Grab this cable and we're going to go all the way towards the back over here where the battery is located. So that's that. And next we do have is that I already put the extension, as you could see, right over here. Now this is for the left turn signal, which originally from the glow kit is a black cable, so I just figured I'd use black as well, which also kind of just, you know, black is, you won't be able to see it when it's a black cable. So I have the cable routed through here, goes behind here. I zip tied it through there. Also, guys, zip ties are your best friend when doing electrical work and wiring. Let's go to the front of the bike and let me see if I can get some light up in here in this area. So there is a cable or whatnot, a hose down here, as you could see, and it kind of routes here. So I used the zip ties and I kind of just went alongside the hose that's already there, zip tying it. As you can see, there's a zip tie right there, and kind of just following it through this area to this side of the bike. Okay, so everything is all nice and neat. As you can see, you can't even tell there's any wiring there unless if I didn't show you that there was wiring there. All right, so now let's move over to this side of the bike, and here is where all the cabling is at. So like I said, zip tie as much as you can, make everything nice and neat. Zip tied here, all the cables are all nice and lined up over here. This cable is for the turn signal, which I'll show you this in a second, because we do have to tap into the harness right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this guy through here, and I'll show you how to use a posi tap. Here's all the remaining part of the cable, which I zip tied. This is going to be for the LED logo, which it does say logo right here. The other one over here says left turn signal, which I already attached, which was the cable that came off of this strip. So that was the cable up here, attached it, it's already connected. So now we just have our cable dangling here for our side panel once we get to it. All right, so here is our connector, and same thing on this side. It's going to be a blue cable and a brown cable. We're going to use our posi tap to get into the blue cable. Here is our cable from the other side, which you needed to strip a little piece. Here is our posi tap. So let me show you how to use the posi tap. All right, so here's the posi tap. As you can see, I just unscrewed it now so I can show you a little bit better, since I'm using one hand to do this. I didn't bring my tripod. So the bottom of the posi tap was this little gray piece. Once you unscrew it, you're going to see it has a little slit in it. So let me go ahead and put this red piece down. So the little slit part, we're going to actually slide the cable on that piece. All right, so we're going to slide that over the blue cable. All right, so as you can see, I have it slid into the blue with the red striped cable. The brown cable is negative, so we don't want to touch that. All right, so it's already on the blue cable, so that part's already in. We're going to grab the other part of the posi tap, which is right here. You can see it has a little point, and we're going to go ahead and screw that piece in. So let's see if we can get that in there. All right, so that's how it looks like when it's already screwed in. You want to make sure it's tight, but not too extravagantly tight, too tight on there. All right, next you're going to see it has this little red cap. We're going to go ahead and unscrew the red cap. Take out the red cap. We're going to go ahead and slide the red cap over our cable that we just spliced right here. As you can see, it's spliced. So we're going to go ahead and slide that in like this. All right, poke it through. Sorry that it keeps unfocusing there. All right, so this is pretty much how it looks like. You can see the cable sticking out from that cap area. And then go ahead and attach it back onto the posi tap. Go ahead and screw that in. Make sure you get it on there fairly tight. Once it's on there, give it a little tug. The cable should not come out. If the cable came out, then that means you didn't splice enough cable, or that you didn't put it in all the way where it got snug. So just redo it and then put it back in. Once you tighten it, give it a little tug. If it doesn't come out when you pull on it, it's a good connection. All right, so now that we got that in there, we could just go ahead and kind of just push that cable in. If you want, we're going to go ahead and probably put a little zip tie right over here to kind of keep all the cables nice and neat. And then that's pretty much done for this area. All right, so now that we have all our wiring and everything already set, now let's go ahead and connect our power source, wiring the LED glow kit straight to the battery. So let's go back to the other side and let me show you on how I'll plan to do that. Alrighty, so now we're back on the left side or the right side of the bike. Here is our positive and negative cable. Since this part of the cabling is going to go actually in the area of the engine bay, we definitely don't want this cable to melt and cause a short and issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use special heat tape that's used in, for anything that's going to wires that are going into areas that are especially really hot. This will protect the cables from melting together. Really good thing to have in your toolbox. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the cables, starting probably from right about here. Heck, I'll just probably start wrapping it here. Wrap it all the way until I get pretty much almost towards the end. Once I'm done, I will show you how it looks like and what to do next. Alrighty guys, so I would say that the epoxy is pretty much already kind of dry to the touch. Go hold it. It's pretty decent for now, as long as it's not really tacky. So I would say it's good enough to actually put the fairing back on to the bike. Putting the fairing back on is pretty much the reversal. I'm going to keep the tape on there for now, so that's why I'm going to put the fairing back on right now, and then I'll show you how to put the emblem on with the epoxy and how to, you know, pretty much center it really. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put everything in, and then don't forget to plug in your logo light, is what they're calling it. And really, when you plug these in, they only could go in one way. As you can see, there's like 4 little holes, and then there's a little slit which corresponds with the one in that plug as well. So just go ahead, be careful, put everything back in, and then plug in your logo light. So make sure you do this for both sides. Alrighty guys, now before I actually put the panel back on this side, I have to go ahead and make sure that we get our cables or our leads for those 2 button switches. So what I did is there's a screw right over here on this top fairing panel. That's one screw with that T25 Torx. Remove that screw and then go ahead and just start removing the panel over here gently, as there are tabs holding this piece in place. So once you get this popped open, as you can see, there's another piece of plastic underneath. At least there's a little hole over there where you could actually pull the cable through this side and in through that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. You guys do the same after that. We'll probably won't pull all of the cable through, as I don't want to have a bunch of cable all tied up over here. I'm just gonna pull what I need, as I did make a custom bracket that's gonna go over here for those 2 push buttons. So I'm gonna go ahead and route that cable through. You guys do the same, and like I said, don't pull all of it out, just pull what you need to the handlebar area, and then the rest of you can kind of just bunch it up and zip tie it in there. It'll be a lot neater. Okay, I already got the cable already routed through here, which comes out through this area right here. Kind of hard to see, but here is the cable itself. I'm gonna have it pretty much right over here, where on this side, as you can see, this is where the bracket's gonna be with the 2 push buttons. And the reason what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the steering. Now the reason for that is because I don't want to tidy up everything and find out when I turn the steering that it's going to actually tug on the cables. You definitely don't want that. You want to have a little bit of slack, so as you turn, you don't actually tug on the cable so excessive that it actually puts strain on the cables, therefore over time it will actually rip. But after that, go ahead and then tidy up the wires here and put your side fairing back on. Alright guys, I already got the panels on both sides, as you can see. I'm still waiting for the epoxy to dry, because I'll show you that in a minute. That I have to put some epoxy for those 2 button switches that are actually going to go right there. See, the leads are right there. While I'm waiting for that to dry a little bit more, I want to go ahead and finally connect the cable. I know I had mentioned that we were going to connect the cable at the time, but then I got sideswiped by trying to get everything else done. So now we're going to get to this department. All right, so here are our positive and negative cables. Going to go ahead and splice a little end of the cables on both, and then we're going to attach the corresponding little tabs right here. Once we crimp these on, I'm going to go ahead and just going to cut the O-ring off a little bit. It'll make it a lot easier when attaching it onto the battery. I'll show you what I mean as soon as I do it. So once I do it, I'll show you. All right, guys, so I already installed the clips. Now see, I already snipped the end of it, or part of it, to make it look like a little C-clip. Now the reason for this is because it'll make it a lot easier, especially dealing with these batteries, because if you undo the screw, sometimes the little nut falls down. It's really hard to actually get it back and screw it back on. So by doing like a C-clip, now you just have to loosen up the terminal just a little bit, enough to slip this in, and then you go ahead and tighten it. It makes everything so much easier. All right, so you guys do the same, positive, negative to negative. Then after that, if you need to use zip ties to kind of tidy up the wires just a little bit. Everything is looking good over there. And by the way, guys, right, the terminals are 10 millimeters for socket size. Well, now that everything is connected there, I'm going to go ahead and we are going to put our seat back on. Now, don't forget that when we had removed the seat, there was a plug here. This is for the heated seats, so don't forget to plug this in, because you don't want to be out there riding a little cold. You want to put the heated seats, and it's not working because you didn't plug it in. So don't forget to plug in your seat. Alrighty, so now I already put the emblems on there, and as you can see, I put the tape back on there to hold the emblems in place while the glue dries. Now for best results, it'll be best just to leave the tape on there overnight. But if you guys are gonna go out for a ride, I would say for at least 5 hours, a little bit more optimal. But for the absolutely best results, overnight would be best. All right, guys. So while that is kind of curing, everything else is already pretty much set. All right, guys. So over here, I'm gonna actually spray paint this bracket black. Now this is going to be the on and off master on and off switch for the glow kit. Now for the other side over here, we're gonna also have another bracket like this one. I'm also going to spray paint that one black, and we're going to install this one over here on this handlebar, and that's going to control the settings for the lights. Also, guys, I kind of wanted to apologize. I'm sorry I forgot to show you this part, but here is the bracket, as you can see, and I totally forgot to show you on sliding in these two switches, which there's nothing really to it. You just unscrew it from this end, and then go ahead and slide in the switches into this bracket. As you can see, I already put the shoe glue on there to hold the bracket, and once this dries, it should be good where we don't have to worry about it falling off of the bracket. Over here you have the screw hole, and that's where the mounting point is for the bracket. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and install this back on the bike. Now to do and install this like I did over here, this will just go ahead and show you. We'll go ahead and remove the bottom screw and then just slide it in through here on top of the bracket, and then just go ahead and reinsert the screw and tighten it in all the way. You want to make sure that it's fairly tight, as this is part of the brake lever. You definitely don't want that lever to be sliding around. Okay, now that I got both brackets on there, you can see this one's already tightened down and this one is already on there and tightened down. Now next we're gonna go ahead and zip tie the cables, and then we're gonna connect them onto our other section of the cable over there, the plugs. As you can see, I have a little piece of blue tape over there masked off, because that one, I want this connector to be the top one, and then the other one's gonna be the bottom. The switch that's on the other side of the handlebar over there is our main power on and off switch. When you hit that one, that's when the lights illuminate. Alright guys, so everything is down. Now if you see the zip ties, now the reason I have the zip tie here is because the epoxy hasn't cured yet for the switch, the push button switch. It's gonna need a lot more time, I would say pretty much overnight, a lot longer than I care to stay. Other than that, this zip tie, once the customer cuts this one off, he can go ahead and cinch this one down, and this will just bring the cables closer together and keep it nice and neat, but only after the epoxy has fully cured. Alright, so guys, now let me show you on how to actually power up the lights. Okay, now so to power up the system, we have our master on and off switch. Just gonna go ahead and press this button. Once you press it in, you're gonna notice that the lights are gonna warm up. They give that warm up look, and then they actually turn off, which is a good thing, because if someone were to go up to your bike and press the button, they're gonna be like, ooh, lights, but then they're gonna turn off. They're like, oh man, they don't work. So that's kind of a good safety feature right there. So to get it started, just push this top button. When you first press it, it's gonna show yellow. Then if you press it again, it's gonna go to this like white bluish color. Before I forget, guys, just wanted to let you know that, say that you like a particular glow setting. All right, say you like this particular setting. Once you turn off the main kit, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Once you push that power off button, and then you turn it back on, it actually resets. So in order for you to get to that particular mode again, you're gonna you have to go ahead and pretty much cycle pretty much that button combination until you get to that one that you had before. So I'm just gonna letting you guys know that now, so you guys don't be like, oh man, I just put that setting, now I turned it off, now it just what happened to it? It's because it doesn't have a memory mode, and it's not Bluetooth, so it won't recognize that last setting that you had set it on. Now the button at the bottom of that one is going to be the modes. So when you press that button, you can see it kind of goes into its different color modes. If you keep on pressing, it kind of cycles through all the colors or all the different modes that it has. So it's just one of those kind of things that you have to kind of play around with the buttons to kind of get it to the mode you like. Press it again, it goes to the police mode. If you press the top button when it does this, they both stay at the white color. You press the top button again, it goes back to the blue and red color. Alrighty guys, that pretty much concludes on how to install this LED glow kit from Russia. If you guys enjoyed the video, please smash that like button. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, that way you guys are up to date with my latest videos. And if you dislike the video, please hit the dislike button. Let me know in the comments below on why you dislike the video, and thank you for watching. Oh, and by the way, if you guys enjoyed stuff like this and want me to showcase some other lighting kits, let me know in the comments below. That way I could kind of do my research on them, and if possible, if I do get another motorcycle to work on and installing these type of kits, I'll go ahead and do so and showing you how to install those kind of glow kits on particular motorcycles. Alrighty guys, thanks for watching. Take care.